Your comeback story starts now, and we're going to ignite your inner warrior. Hey everyone, I just want to start by saying I have a niece, and she's the cutest little thing, and she always sings a song to me called She is a Warrior. And she just belts it out at the top of her lungs. And I'm not going to sing because I am pitchy. When I sing, I can't sing on key. And but she will just sing out those words. She is a warrior, and nothing's gonna get her down. And she dedicated that to me as my theme song, and here's why. So I was going through a really rough time about a year and a half ago. I lost my youngest son in a tragic accident. Hopefully one day I'll explain what happened, but it was just a tragedy. That's all I want to mention right now, so be patient with me. So with that being said, yeah, it was just a rough go. I didn't know how to move forward. Couldn't even comprehend what that was going to look like. I am the mother of 7 kids, and my kids are my whole entire world. And not having them, one of them especially, was unfathomable. Blah, you guys know what I mean. And I couldn't comprehend how it was going to be possible to move forward. I was actually in the hospital, and everything had just happened, and we had to make the hard, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking decision to take him off life support. And my family was there to support us, and through all of it, one of my younger sisters just stood up. She had a water bottle in her hand, and she just chucked it as hard as she could across the room, and it hit the wall on the other side. And she just screamed and was just like, why does this have to happen to Holly again? And what she meant by that is all of the hardships that I've faced in my life. I've had challenging pregnancies. I had my house burned down to the ground. I had a horse slip and fall on me and completely crush me, and I was on life support for 2 weeks. I then contracted a untreatable bone infection, and the doctor's exact words were, "I'm going to be honest with you, and if something else doesn't kill you first, this eventually will. It's terminal and it's untreatable, and there's nothing I can do about it." So hearing those words was really gut-wrenching, along with all the other trials I've faced in my life. I've had major ups and downs within my family, which have been challenging. And then as I was going through one of those ups and downs, I was right in the middle of trying to decide what direction to go with my life to try to create a healthy environment for my family relations. I lost my youngest son. And so having to fight through that, having to find the motivation, the inspiration, the determination to move forward past that was a challenge, to say the least. And so I wanted to share 3 key elements on how I was able to do that and be where I am today. And the first one I want to talk about is acknowledging my feelings. At first, I did not want to show emotion in front of anyone else. It was private to me. I wanted to keep it private to me. And I just didn't want anyone in my space. I wanted to grieve alone. And so, in compressing that and having so many friends and family and loved ones want to rally around me and my family during this really hard time, didn't provide a lot of opportunity for me to have that privacy. And so I had to get to the point where I, in my circumstances, because I have a big family on both sides, on my in-laws side and on my side. I am the oldest of 9. My husband is the third of 6, and their spouses and their kids and family, and plus friends, neighbors. It was just really touching to see all the loved ones rally around us. But I still had to acknowledge my feelings and what I was going through, and that I needed to let myself grieve. That was one huge key element. After I was able to work through that process, which I was able to get some therapy and some professional help to do that, as well as letting myself work through it naturally, were 2 key elements to acknowledging my feelings and getting through that. There was the first few days, because I was suppressing everything, my body started shutting down. Literally started shutting down. It wouldn't let me eat. It wouldn't let me drink. And I, in every shape of the word, shut down, was shutting down. And I truly had to work hard at the mental and emotional part of the grief that I was going through, and acknowledge those feelings and let myself grieve and work through it and get the help I needed to work through it. The second thing that was a key in this time of my life was setting small, achievable goals. Some of those days, my goals was just to get dressed, because I wanted to lock myself in my room, and I just had so many friends and family rallying around us during this hard time. I couldn't just lock myself in my room. I had to get dressed and just go about the things that I needed to take care of, because there was things I needed to take care of. Some of those concern the funeral and all the arrangements that you have to make, and just everything that comes with that. I just didn't have a choice, unless I didn't want to have any part in it. And it was my baby boy, and I was going to have a part in it. So I had to find the strength. I had to reach down deep, so deep, and grab my warrior that was in me to fight through the hard, because it was such a fight and a struggle as I was working through that. And to be able to participate and be involved in laying him to rest, because I wanted to be a part of that, and I am so grateful that I fought for that, because I cherish the details that I made sure were a part of that whole process, and those details were sacred and special to me. And so I'm grateful that I fought through that, and that I made those goals to be able to do that. And some days that was all I had on my plate. I'm gonna go to the mortuary. We're gonna pick out the casket today, and we'll worry about all the other details for the funeral the next day. I wanted a few days before the funeral to give myself some time. I didn't want to overwhelm myself. And so I did that. I had a few days so I could just take it a little at a time and not feel so overwhelmed with everything. So I was grateful for that. After the funeral, it did take some more of that mental strength and fight to be able to push through. And I remember one of the days we went and picked up my 4th son from the airport. He was serving a mission at the time for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so we went to the airport to pick him up. They let him come home for the funeral. So he was home for a few days, and everyone in my family was struggling. The accident was so unexpected, and the circumstances behind it were just kind of traumatizing. It was hard for everyone in my family, me, my husband, my children. So going to pick up my fourth son, my fourth child, which is one of my sons, from the airport, everyone was just kind of laying in the car, looking out the window with their head down. Nobody was smiling, nobody was talking, nobody was interacting. It was just a very solemn atmosphere. And we get to the airport, and we pick up my son, and this particular son is so charismatic, and so he has such a uplifting, life of the party personality. And even though it was a hard situation, and he was really close with my youngest and having just as hard of a time as everyone else, he really I will testify of this till I'm blue in the face. The Lord sent strength for our family with him when he came home. And it was visible as soon as we got to the airport, and he said hi to everyone, and he asked if he could drive home, and I was like, sure, why not? And one of my third oldest, which is another son of mine, wanted to sit in the front with him, and I was sitting in the middle seat, and then we had two kids sitting behind us, and everyone was just talking and chattering, and it was a completely different atmosphere than what we had driving to the airport. As we were driving home from the airport, the atmosphere had changed completely. There was laughing, there was smiling, there was conversation, there was just the chatter going on. And I just naturally had a smile on my face, and I was looking around, and my husband was like, what? And I said, look at everyone's faces. Everyone has a smile on their face for the first time since we lost Trey. Everyone has a smile on their face. And we are feeling that joy that comes from the light of Christ, from our Savior. And our son brought that home with him and has shared that light, and it has radiated and touched all of us. And we can feel it, and you can see it on everyone's faces that they can feel it. And it was a remarkable, miraculous experience to witness, see, and be there to experience firsthand. It was incredible. And then the third item on the list that I feel like was key during this time for us is practicing the skill of gratitude. And I call it a skill for a reason, because in this world, in this day and age, it seems like everybody bombards us with negativity, with criticism, and it's just everywhere. Like, it just floods everybody all the time. And to be able to be strong and pull out your inner warrior and be like, hey, I am actually not going to go down that road, and I'm going to focus on the positive. I'm going to have a grateful heart, and to focus on those things is where I want to go, where I want my mind to go, where I want my heart to go. And being able to do that when you're going through one of the hardest things a person can go through, which is to lose a loved one, whether that is a child, a spouse, a parent, a sibling, whoever, a grandparent, whoever that, a best friend, a close neighbor, whoever that may be. Losing a loved one that is super close to you is one of the hardest challenges that we go through in this life. With all the challenges I've gone through in my life, it is by far takes the cake on the hardest thing that I have gone through. Nothing even comes close, and I've been through some pretty intense hardships in my life. And having a positive attitude and a grateful heart, I am here to tell you, makes all the difference. Focus on those things, because there's always something positive and always something to be grateful for. And you might be thinking, how in the world is that possible when you just lost your son, one of your reasons for living? And in one of my other videos, I talk about how my kids were my reason for living, and that's what kept me alive when I was crushed. And it was that mental state that you have to fight for. It was the same thing when I lost my son. It was a mental state that I had to fight for to survive. And that's what I did. Focusing on the positive, having a grateful heart, being grateful that there was several things that I was grateful for. One of them was that I still had the rest of my kids, that this tragedy didn't affect multiple people, which it could have. It very well could have, and that would have been more catastrophic to me. Being grateful for the knowledge that I have and the testimony that is in me that I am going to see my son again someday. That truth probably was the biggest positive, most ginormous, grateful part of my heart through this hard time. Knowing that that was true, knowing that I could hold on to that, and every day was one day closer till that was gonna come to be. Every day that I'm able to get through is one day closer till I get to see my little man again. And I just wanted to share these 3 points to help all of you that might be watching be able to face the hard that you're going through, because this life is hard. Everyone has challenges, every single one of us, and they look different. However, we can use similar key elements to get through each of our challenges. As I was looking through this list, I thought, you know what, 100%. I can definitely acknowledge my feelings in all the hardships that I have gone through that I've already named. I can acknowledge my feelings. I can set small, attainable goals and work towards those. And that will just help me progress one day at a time, one step at a time. And that's all I need to do when I'm going through something hard. It doesn't need to be, okay, I'm over it and I'm better and fine in the snap of a finger. I can just be like, okay, I'm just going to do a little bit at a time and be able to move forward a little bit at a time, and I'll get there. And then, of course, focusing on the positive and practicing gratitude in all things as I go throughout the hard that I face in just life, because that's what life throws in everyone's path. So if you guys want to share any thoughts or feelings that might have helped you, that would be amazing. I would love to share that and kind of start a fun community, being able to help each other as we all go through the heart of life. As well as, if you guys want to like and subscribe, I also have some links to some just fun little tokens. I think one of them is one of my shirts that say "One Day Closer," and of course you guys know what that's about. And if you guys, I will try to respond to comments and questions as they come in. I am just starting this, so it's going to be very raw, very unedited until I learn how to do that kind of stuff. Please be patient. I haven't learned that part of the techie side of YouTube. So please be patient, as I have probably gone through this video saying a lot of ums and yeahs. So I appreciate you watching to the end and look forward to hearing from you.